This is the most powerful Lynx snowmobile ever. Lynx Xterrain RE Turbo. My name is Joni Launonen.
And I'm Hannu Härkönen.
For model year 22, we have plenty of improvements on Xterrain RE Turbo.
Yes, that's right. So what is new? First, we have the most powerful engine on Lynx snowmobiles ever. So we have the ROTAX 900 Ace Turbo R with 180 horsepower. On top of that, we have the new PPS3 rear suspension. That is actually the third generation of the legendary PPS suspension. And then in the front, we also have a completely new front suspension, the LFS Plus.
Of all new features that we have on the snowmobile, the engine is of course the most interesting thing. 180 horsepower, it's a lot of power, and I would say so that arm stretching is understatement.
Absolutely. And what we did for the engine itself, we now have new fuel injectors with higher capacity. On top of that, we also have better throttle response through new compressors as well.
And what else is new? We have new intercooler for better flow, and we have new intake silencer, and we also have a new muffler. PPS3 is, like you, Hannu, mentioned, the third generation of legendary PPS suspension.
So yes, it's lighter, but it's also wider in terms of sweet spot. So even with medium speeds or so, you will enjoy your ride more than before. And how we achieve this, first we now have a longer center arm, and together with the new geometry of the suspension, we were able to achieve more suspension travel as well. Together with this and the optimized weight transfer, we were able to improve the comfort level significantly.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the geometry. One important thing to mention is that the rear arm now has more rising rate, so it's more progressive, and that adds comfort. We have 46 millimeter KASHIMA coated three-way adjustable shocks here, so the capacity is there. A lot of capacity for fast riding, but also the comfort.
Yes, absolutely. And we also achieved significant improvements in terms of noise. So we now have much less noise, vibrations, and an overall harshness coming from the rear suspension.
And also, we now have less rolling resistance, so the sled feels lighter when you ride it. And all of these are the things that you really enjoy when you are riding long days. You could safely say that we have completely new suspension in here, since we have new front suspension too.
That's right. So the new LFS Plus front suspension is wider than before, 1,097 millimeter ski stance. We also increased the suspension travel. So just like the rear suspension, also the front suspension will give you a wider sweet spot and actually also more precise steering overall.
Yes, and what we also have on the front suspension is massive front shocks. KASHIMA coated KYB46 with three-way adjustability, meaning high and low speed compression damping and rebound damping. Normally you see this kind of shocks on pro snowcross snowmobiles, so these shocks tell their own story about the control and rideability of this snowmobile. And then we have Blade DS Plus skis, originally made for deep snow riding, but a very good and versatile ski for crossover sled like Xterrain RE.
That's right. So it was designed originally for deep snow riding, and that's the reason for the fact that it's quite long and wide, so it will give you a lot of flotation as well, and it will handle the deep snow conditions as well. But what we found out is that it's surprisingly good a ski also for crossover kind of sleds. So it's very precise, it's very predictable in various snow conditions.
Yeah, and no darting, so one of those things that you really enjoy when you are riding long day trips. You know, when you have still 200 kilometers to go, you really want your steering to be precise and stable. Riding quality starts from the good ergonomics.
Yes, that's right. So the whole ergonomics have been designed for long distance adventures. The Radian X platform gives you a lot of wind protection. but at the same time, it also allows you to move very freely when you want to transfer your weight from one side to another.
And once you sit in the saddle, you realize that your knee angle is very relaxed, and that enables you to stand up when needed. We have new grips, smaller diameter grips.
What are the benefits of that is that you will have less fatigue when you're riding long days, one after another.
And then something has changed. Throttle lever looks like, traditional two-stroke throttle lever.
Yes, so it's the new generation of ITC. And the benefit there is that it actually feels like a mechanical throttle lever. So you have a very good touch and feel of it, but you still have all the benefits of the electric throttle. For example, the riding modes and also the option of having a learning key.
Pretty much new stuff on this snowmobile, and this particular sled is with the build your ride options, meaning that we have whip high-end gates and studded track with 41mm profile.
That's right, and if you don't want to go for the spring option, then you have the standard digital display and 51mm track.
We gave Henri Toppala freedom to accessorize this Xterrain RE in the way he wanted it. So, Henkka, what do we have here?
So I made this sled ready for multi-day on and off trail adventure trips. We have added 50 liters of storage on it and then approximately 100 kilometers of extra range.
We have here the fuel caddy and two kinds of bags.
Yes. So here on the rear we have the two factory mounted LINQ attachments, and on those we have attached the LINQ stackable fuel caddy, which has a volume of 15 liters. And then on top of that, we have mounted the all-new Trail Pro bag, which is really convenient to use as it is quite flexible in its volume. So you can adjust the volume of the bag from 9 to 30 liters. Mm-hmm. And you can keep all your gear really tightly in there for all those longer trips. And here on the second LINQ attachment, we have the Sport bag, which has a volume of 17 liters. And all the storage is waterproof for those long trips.
Okay. Then, what else?
So here in the desk area, we have the E-Link system. So it combines your desk key with a 12-volt power outlet, and it's very easy to use thanks to its magnetic connector. So basically it works like a regular desk key, and you have your power outlet close to you, ready to be heating your visor, for example.
Yep. Sounds very handy. And then we have some extra space.
Yes. Here in the front we have the glove box extension with the smartphone holder. In my mind, one of the greatest accessories that we have come up in the past years. What makes it so great is that you can have your smartphone warm and dry while you're doing those long trips. And then on top of that, you can have your favorite apps, music apps, you can see who's calling, and you can have your favorite navigation app with you. And then it also doubles your glove box volume.
Okay, and then for adventure riding, something that is always needed, some extra protection.
Yes. So here in the front, we have the Explorer front bumper, which is standard on the Xterrain RE model. And you can get it as an accessory for the rest of the lineup. But then if you look a bit below, so here we have the Radian X skid plate. And it's the white version, and also it has some added features in the rear portion to protect the chain case and the brake disc area. A really heavy-duty skid plate.
Yep.
And overall, this is a sled that I would take for those multi-day adventure trips.
Lynx Xterrain RE Turbo. Brutal power, ultimate control. Adventures will never be the same again.